Okay, John, so we're speaking to everybody about World Cup and general exciting things. Obviously, yourself with the last round in New Zealand, you've got a bit more insight. So, what's the tournament like to be involved in?
Well, I've been involved in two now, haven't I? So, you tend to train and you tend to get worked up in a bit of a bubble. And there's no doubt in the two build-ups to the two World Cups in 07 and 11, they were very, very different in terms of how we got together and put the side together, and I suppose the unity of the coaching team and everything else that goes with it. We were probably in 07 we were a very dysfunctional coaching team in many respects. But the reality of that was the players bought into what we needed to get out of them as our individual coaches, and we were relatively successful by hook or by crook, with a bit of fortune and everything else that goes together in helping making a successful team in the tournament. The irony probably is that in 11 the build-up was really good. We'd ended up in that season leading to the World Cup, and actually including the World Cup, we ended up winning 10 of our 12 games that we'd had, including the Six Nations as well. So actually all that preparation leading up to the World Cup, the coaches were much more on board. There was a lot more unity. All right, we just didn't play particularly well when we were out there. That's kind of the summary of it. In terms of what you go through as a coach, it doesn't matter whether you're playing Georgia, Romania, Tonga or Western Samoa as it was in 07. Every game starts off at 0-0, and there's every opportunity for, let's just say, the smaller nations or the less fancied nations actually to cause an upset, cause pressure. And what England are going to be going through in these next 24 hours leading up to the Fiji game, I can only, well, I know, because they're going to be putting themselves as players under massive pressure. The coaches are going to be biting the nails because they know there's so much expectation from them, from the general public. I don't envy where they are, having been through it myself, and I say I was like that for every game. You couldn't go, even Georgia. With all respect to Georgia or Romania, who were teams that was relatively low down the pecking order back in 11, you just couldn't take anything for granted, because those teams, as they've shown in previous World Cups, have the capacity to either make you look stupid or shock you to the point where they may win. Right? So every game in this World Cup is going to be, for a coach, just a nervous wreck of an hour and a half of their lives. So in some ways I'm going to be able to sit back and enjoy all the pain they're going through, knowing how much they will be going through. And having spoken to Wig about it, he's been there, and I was there with him, shall we say, for the last two World Cups. We both went through this phase. We've both gone through the oh no, or the oh my god phase as the game's unfolding. All right. We've also had, when we've had the wins as well, so you've got the roller coaster of emotions. All right.
Run the full gauntlet.
Yeah, and there's no doubt, having been beaten 36-0 in 07 by South Africa and being slated and pillared, quite rightly, all right, by the press, the local press, actually the British press, all right, then to get to a World Cup final where everybody's just said, my God, how have they done that? What have they done that? And then to take South Africa so close in that final. Try or no try, who knows? Who cares now? It doesn't matter. All right. But to actually think that we'd gone from the lowest pit of low, all right, on a Friday night when we've just been stuffed to South Africa, to walking out to play them again a few weeks later, all right, back in Paris, all right, going for the World Cup, all right. Those are the roller coaster of emotions that these lads, players and coaches, are going to have over these next 8 weeks.
So in terms of specific games or specific players, is there something you're particularly looking forward to being able to watch this time around?
Well, for me, in this group stages, irrespective of whether New Zealand win their group or Argentina win their group, for example, you kind of know those are the two teams that are going to go through. All right, so there's a couple of groups like that. There's no doubt, obviously, the England group, where there's certainly Australia, Wales and England, and to a lesser extent Fiji, and we'll find out to what extent they're going to be a competitive outfit tomorrow night. But certainly there's 3 teams going for 2 places. Those are the games that the public and the people, not least the fact that England are involved anyway, are going to want to see. The other one, ironically, is actually based up here in Newcastle, because I think the only other group where you potentially got 3 teams vying for 2 places is the Scotland, Samoa and South Africa group, and I think we're very fortunate to have 2 of those games featuring Scotland and South Africa, and Scotland and Samoa, which is probably, this standing back from it, is probably going to be the key game in that group. And it'll be interesting to see which team rises the most. Is it going to be Fiji playing England at home and that opportunity in front of 80,000+, or is it going to be England riding on a crest of emotion by the crowd? So you've got that happening as well. Same up here again. We've just said Scotland. Is Scotland going to get driven on by their fans that are coming over from Scotland, or is it going to be a Samoan-dominated environment? It's those things as well that will actually help drive the environment. I remember in 2011 when we played Argentina, which was the first game of the competition, and we played at the big indoor arena down in Dunedin. An absolutely wonderful atmospheric environment, and it was just saturated with Argentinian flags and fans who treated it like it was almost like a football game in terms of the atmosphere, and you could see that would have lifted the Argentinian team, but because it was so atmospheric, all right, it actually lifted our team as well, all right. And it's easy to stand back now and try and justify things, but I actually thought that game itself, knowing what Argentina are like in the World Cup, that I thought England did well to win that game, albeit eventually, but then win that game in those kind of events, because all the pressure was on England. It was the first game in the competition. All the noise was coming from Argentina. They'd got the atmosphere on their side, and those are the things that can cause upsets. Those are the things that can actually change the whole dynamics of how a competition can go. That's what I like about the World Cup. Yeah, everybody's got their favourites. Yeah, England have got the home advantage, but somewhere along the lines there's going to be a hiccup, or there's going to be a shock, and I don't know where it's going to come from, but it'll be there somewhere.
Well, I'm going to ask you the tough question after that. If you were to pick a side at this point now that you think's going to go all the way, who would it be?
I've still got a sneaky feeling that if England can ride the pressure, then the emotion of the occasion, a bit like 2012 in the Olympics, I think if England can ride the pressure, all right, they're going to be a tough team to beat. Notwithstanding the fact that they have got problems here and there, but every team will come up with something that they've got to sort out. But if they don't do it, I've still got a sneaky feeling that if Australia can get out of the group, they're a good competition team. It takes a good team to then beat them as the competition starts to take on the next stages.